At ease, Commander Rhino.
Alrighty. Don't worry, I put my pants back on. Good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of Dweebs United. I'm going to, over the next few visits, try and get the lighting over here right now that I've moved the fucking computer again. Lighting's fucked again. What's everybody drinking first off? And let's start with Nicholas.
I am going to crack open the last year's bought version of Garrison's beer.
Nice, nice. How about yourself there, Giordano?
Dominus Vibuscan Lupulus Belgian IPA.
Alrighty. And yourself there, King of Beer 2?
I'm doing the Garrison Sweet Ride, the Bose Garrison collab.
Nice. And you know what I'm going to start with, just because it was in the fridge and I got to get rid of it? A Coors Light.
Oh, fuck.
Right, it just happened to be in the fridge.
You know when this is from? This is still leftovers from the festival when Bubba and Glenn came.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What's the canned on date on this?
That's the bottle on date, guys.
Is this show a good platform for that beer?
Yeah, I think it might be. Yeah, this was canned in March.
So it might still be good, maybe.
Oh, it's probably still good.
Yeah.
I almost guarantee it's still good.
It's in its unfortunate period.
I got a bottle of Red Stripe that expires tomorrow, so review.
Yeah, you better jump on that shit.
Bottle of what?
Red Stripe.
Stripe.
Oh,
Give Marvin a shout out when you do that video.
Marvin one.
Does he
Buddy Marvin.
brewing?
There we go. And look at all the fucking residue in my glass. Awesome. There we go. So, I guess we should start with some quick little beer topics that are going around right now. 33 Acres partners with Soul Food Street Farms for charity beers. So this is a brewery in Vancouver, BC. And they're doing 33 Acres of Soul, which was brewed using hops grown by Soul Food Street Farms. That's a weird fucking name. Anyway, they are donating all sales proceeds are being donated directly to Soul Food Street Farms. Okay, so they brewed it with hops from Soul Street, and all the money's going to Soul Street. So I'm going to assume Soul Street because I haven't looked it up, but just reading this quickly, I'm going to assume it's one of those like community co-ops, like gardening co-ops.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it looks like it too. Like even the pictures, there's a like guy with dreadlocks and a bandana on, taking hops off the vine.
Fuck off.
Bellwood's Brewery announcing release dates and details for 4 barrel-aged beers. So first and foremost is a Monogamy Centennial Brett barrel-aged with apricot and peach. So it's a Centennial Monogamy series, so a single hop beer, and it's barrel-aged with Brett and apricots and peach. Sounds interesting, but I don't know how much I care for that. I mean, first off, you're doing a one-hop ale with a hop that goes pretty caffeine pill bitter as it ages, and then you're aging it in a barrel with Brett that's going to make it even drier. And yeah, I want to try it. I'm just not sure on what I think of that.
Yeah, doesn't sound like a thing I'd be interested in.
That's coming out October 16th. It's been in a barrel for a year.
Wow.
With several different strains of Brett before being blended into a tank with fruit.
Sounds like a cornucopia of possibly really bad shit.
Lambda Brett Barrel-Aged Quad comes out October 23rd. This bold brew is one of the only beers we make that tends towards the sweet, but it's balanced by complex aromas of port, sherry, red grape, caramel, and Brett. Barrel-aged for a year and conditioned in bottle for 9 months.
So another one that smells like a quadruple.
Yeah. Another one that I would really like to get. Now, this one, I didn't read this on the website. I knew it was coming out. It was the 3 Minutes to Midnight. I knew that was coming out, but which is a barrel-aged Imperial Stout. But with cherries this time, around October 30th it comes out.
Speaking of coming out, welcome to Average Joe coming into the show.
Oh, Average Joseph, how are you?
Me, I love you too, baby. I love you too, baby.
Lastly is Donkey Venom's Brett Barrel Aged Baltic Porter. So they're really on this Brett barrel aging stuff right now. I'm wondering if because they use Brett so much, if it just got into all the barrels and they just
man,
whatever.
Man.
But Donkey Venom Brett Barrel Aged is an amazing beer. I want it, sure, but I don't really care if I get it or not because that one I've already had. It's the first two I'm really more intrigued by because I haven't had them before. These beer bottles are $9 each, 500 milliliter bottles. So it is what it is. Joseph, what are you going to be drinking tonight?
Oh, baby. Nothing. Water. No, I'm actually busting out a beer. It is from the Rock Mill Brewery out of Lancaster, Ohio. So, Ethan, right? It is their bottle conditioned and unfiltered triple.
Nice.
And much like Ethan, we'll keep with the Ethan theme, this was bottled on February 2nd of 2014, so, 2 years old, like most of the topics he brings to the table. And when I busted it open, it spewed out of the bottle much like he spews bullshit out of his mouth. Boom!
That's right, baby.
That
Throw
was
it
the best
down.
rolling of Ethan in one sitting I've had in a while.
God damn, Ethan, sitting there sucking Bill's ball sack on a video for 2 minutes.
Oh,
Epic
baby.
rant, baby. Epic rant.
Epic positive rant, baby, but I tricked you all to think it was a negative one.
Anyway,
No such thing as a positive rant. Fucking bullshit.
our next bit of beer news is out of BC as well. Cannery, I always want to call them Canary. The Cannery Artisan Creation Series continues with Darkling Oatmeal Stout. Now, these guys did an amazing maple stout. Their maple stout is awesome. It tastes like a fucking the maple leaf cookies. You know, the butter maple cookies? That's what it tastes like. It's fucking amazing. So, Darkling Oatmeal Stout, I'm intrigued in as well. Sadly, it won't come to Ontario. But they do hit Ontario usually in, not this bottle itself, but the maple and the blackberry porter usually hit Ontario every winter, so I'm looking forward to getting my hands on a maple again. Hopefully it comes, because, Pumpkin isn't coming this year.
Really?
Yeah. Big Rig releases Tales from the Patch Pumpkin Porter, which is their pumpkin porter. I had this before they had a real name for it. It's basically Lorne is their brewmaster. It's his wife's pumpkin pie recipe turned into a porter. It was a really good porter. I really did enjoy it. It reminds me somewhat of a Warlock Light from Southern Tier. Now here's one that's kind of intriguing to me, and I don't know why they're doing it other than maybe some pushback, and it's an old recipe. But Great Lakes is dropping the Devil's Pale Ale from the brand lineup, which is the Route 666 from Great Lakes. The devil made them brew it. It debuted in 2006 at a time when Great Lakes was best known for its more mainstream lager brands. A brewery representative, Troy Birch, tells the site it was so popular and frankly different from what all other Ontario breweries were producing at the time that it was decided to be made a full-time brand sold in 473 milliliter cans at the LCBO. It remained the case until earlier this year when Great Lakes retired the brand, as Birch explains. There was talk of changing up the recipe and rebranding it to have look, feel, and attitude of our other brands like Canuck Pale Ale and Tank 10 beers. When we launched Pompous Ass English Ale in the LCBO in December 2014 in 473 milliliter cans, it allowed us to take a closer look at the Devil's Pale Ale and where it fit in with our portfolio. Eventually, we decided that we'd run through our inventory and stop making it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm kind of sad. I used to love that can. It was just a black can with Devil's Pale Ale 666 on it with the highway sign. It was actually a very sharp looking can. But in all honesty, I don't think I've even seen it lately at any of the stores I go to. It's probably completely gone already.
Satanic.
Yeah, satanic. A new brewery opening up next month in Dartmouth. Nine Locks Brewery.
We got too much beer here now. Take some of our breweries, please. No longer a beer wasteland.
Yeah.
The owner of Rock Bottom Brew Pub and the neighboring restaurant Your Father's Mustache in Halifax will soon be opening a new brewery across the harbor in Dartmouth. Sean O'Hearn is partnering with distant cousin Danny O'Hearn on Nine Locks Brewery.
Mm-hmm. Let me guess what their first beer is going to be. We're going to start out with a really nice double IPA and perhaps a single IPA, and then we're going to have ourselves maybe a little bit of a red ale going on there because that's what everyone's doing now.
You ready for this? They're starting with 6 brands.
Okay.
An IPA,
Mm-hmm.
an ESB,
Oh, there you go, baby.
a white,
No, I don't agree with that.
an APA,
Ooh.
an ISA,
Ooh.
and a porter.
Oh, there you go now, baby. Now you're talking.
So I mean, a white. Is there a lot of whites in? Is there a lot of white beers in Nova Scotia?
No, we don't let a lot of white people in Nova Scotia. You got to have at least some sort of tan on you, baby.
That's why I did add beers.
Only a long time ago.
Because of all the beers you've sent me, I don't think there's ever really been a wheat except for that one Garrison or Propeller one, the homebrew competition one.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Later, is something else.
There have been Belgian whites before, but they've all been the Pro-Am series from fucking Garrison. And Propeller had one for a while. They had a Hefeweizen, which was fucking awesome, but they stopped.
Oh, and you sent me a Crystal Weizen once too.
Oh yeah, Propeller released. I don't even think they make that anymore.
So that might actually be something new again to the area, basically.
Yeah, it's newish, I guess.
An ESB, not something that breweries usually start off with anymore.
No.
ESBs tend to be popular, especially in Nova Scotia. Like, Propeller makes one, Garrison makes one. Pretty sure Garrison makes one.
No.
A porter as well. So I mean, you have a nice round set there, and then an India Pale Ale, an American Pale Ale, and an India Session Ale.
Yeah, it's about as good as a startup lineup as you can probably think of for a new brewery, really. Although if you look at Spindrift there, their first beer is a fucking lager, so it's actually really good.
Is it the best lager in the world?
Well, it's no Innocent Gun, but I could see this show's already going to be diametrically opposed to the last show. It's just.
You know, it is what it is. We do have more star guests lined up. We have Teddy from Mash Paddle wants to come in on one of our shows coming up soon. He just had a baby last week, so he's on hiatus for a little bit.
Selfish prick.
The guys from High Road Brewing, the guys that do the Vermont style pale ale, want to come on. What else do we have? Ken Woods. If Erica can teach him how to use a computer, he'll be here.
What if Erica just shows up?
We could just do it with Erica. You're right. We could.
I know.
We might want to rephrase that.
No, I'm good.
Or
No,
maybe
it's going
not
to stay the way it was said.
Leave it out there.
Yeah, leave it like that. Yeah. So we have a bunch of guests that are going to come. I'm going to try and push for. I'm going to try to do at least one a month, but we might be able to get it to one every 2 weeks, especially once people start doing it, because they'll start seeing that there is a little bit of a shred of professionalism when we have somebody here. Because when we don't, we just don't care, right? We really don't.
Then I start calling for the assassination of political people, and things just start going downhill really quickly.
It never happens.
No.
Never.
What dies in cyberspace dies in cyberspace.
Now, one of the breweries that Ewart was talking about, and I was hoping he was going to be here because I wanted to know how their beer was at the LaSalle Beer Festival, was Midian Brewing. Midian is out of his area, down there in Windsor. It's a brewery that's been trying to open up for a while. It was established in 2013, apparently, and it still doesn't really sell beer, which is kind of funny. But they are actually going out. You know how some breweries will do, spent grain bread and all that, and some breweries will do like baked goods or sauces and stuff with their sauces, like say the partnership that Stone had with that hot sauce company. Well, what Midian is doing is they are doing a real ale malt vinegar. So they are taking some of their beer and they're turning it into malt vinegar, matured over red and white oak, aged for 3 months. 5% acetic acid. I'm actually really intrigued on how this is going to taste. I really like malt vinegar, and I use it. I use a lot of different vinegars in the hot sauces I make, because I don't just like pickling vinegar, and I don't just like white vinegar. So I'll usually use like a red wine vinegar or a apple cider vinegar or something like that. I'll use them because they actually have a flavor. And I'm curious about this, and they said they're going to be doing a couple different flavors of vinegars with different beers. So I'm actually intrigued on that.
How long has this place been open for?
Well, it says established 2013, but they still don't have a license to sell anything, other than a few contract beer store loopholes to sell their beer at festivals.
You would think a place like that would probably try to focus on brewing beer and perfecting stuff than going into other products, but...
Well,
Yeah.
you'd think, but they're not.
Well, clearly. They can make the best malt vinegar ever, guys. Maybe they'll put
And
a date
then,
on the bottle.
Maybe they will. And lastly, if you're in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, of all places, Manitoba and Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, what else is there? Yukon, Alberta. You can get the craft beer advent calendar again this year. It's going to start selling in Nova Scotia on November 2nd.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd pick that up or mention that because I hope Lee somehow is afforded the opportunity to try that.
Yeah, I've
Like
always wanted one, and I know that last year Simon got one from a buddy in Saskatchewan, and he said all the beers in it were amazing. And I said, I hate you, Simon. And that was the end of that topic. But It's a 2-4, and every day you take one beer out of it, and it's a different craft beer each day.
It's supposed to lead up to Christmas, isn't it? Like most places
you
would.
gotta start
Right?
December 1st and then go up to Christmas.
There's an American brewery that you were in Michigan, Greenbush, that did the exact same thing, but it was all Greenbush beers and all different ones. But this is like all across the country, right? Like a bunch of different
Actually,
beers.
they say this time it's going to be all across the world.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wow.
So, I mean, the first year they did it, it was all U.S. breweries. The next year it was all Canadian breweries, and it was a mixture. Now, apparently, they're doing a world box, which is really, really intriguing. So, if you're from Alberta or Manitoba or something and want to do a beer mail, you should do a couple 12-beer mails.
It'd be the easiest beer mail you ever sent. You just fucking put that thing in a box and pat it up, and you're good to go.
It would be an easy beer. It would be an expensive beer mail, though. I actually kind of find it sad because it's illegal to ship beer in Canada, but it's legal now at the same time. It's a weird loophole, and unfortunately, I can't get this in Ontario. They can't sell it in Ontario because none of the beers are like available through the LCBO and all that. But I've been trying to work one of the companies that's legally allowed to ship beer to get their hands on one for me. I've been trying to work on that. We'll see what happens. I have my fingers in a few things trying to get it.
Keep your eyes peeled there, Lou.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll find it. No,
Well, it's going to Nova Scotia on November 2nd, but I'm going to guess it's going to hit like Halifax and
yeah.
the big areas.
Is it be like at specialty shops or actually NSLC?
I don't know. I would guess the specialty shops though. It doesn't.
Yeah, I guess.
It had a link to look at the shops that were going to sell it, but since I'm not going to get it anyway, I didn't care to look at this link.
You selfish bastard.
Craft beer advent calendar.
Yes, we're talking about the beer advent calendar.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just private shops and stuff.
Well, I know when Quebec had it last year, it was sold through the SAC.
Oh.
But I mean, each province is going to do it differently.
Yeah, some are just going to kick us in the sack.
If Nova Scotia's going to do it, I wonder if New Brunswick will. New Brunswick's been pretty on the ball lately. So.
New Brunswick wasn't on their list.
Yeah, it's time for you to drop the ball.
Clint Fletcher was actually on your site today trying to talk some Nova Scotia people into getting him some.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
probably end up picking up 2 or 3.
3.
All right, we do have some comments here. I just want to get to quick, then I'm going to jump out because my connection is being a bitch, so I'm going to try to restart my computer. Dave Zodiac says hello. He says he doesn't mind Coors Light every now and then, especially when he's golfing on a hot day. Right now he's drinking a Rickards Red. Winter is Coming says, cheers, guys. He's drinking a Samuel Smith's Organic Chocolate Stout and a McLean's Armchair Scotch Ale tonight.
I had a can of the fucking his first brew there in my hand earlier today. A bottle of organic stout, and I didn't know what it was at first. I'm like, ooh, a Sam Smith's with it, and I don't know this label. And then I saw organic chocolate stout, and I'm like, yeah, I know this one. Put it down, and it's not that it's a bad beer. It's just way too sweet for me. At least it was the one time I had it.
Okay, we have a comment from DJ Crazy Chris.
That is our new cast member that was here for some reviews.
Oh, yeah, the pumpkin beers, right?
Yes.
Yes, he says DJ Crazy Chris, L in the house. Bylog says GLB's Devil's Pale Ale is one of their most interesting beers, kind of like a BIPA light. Shame they're getting rid of it. I suspect it has more to do with their marketing image and making everything fall in line with their shitty, in his opinion, Tank Tin series art. I find it weird since I've been told by the staff of the brewery that it was their best seller at the LCBO, mainly due to people loving the can design.
It's a great can design, and it was a good beer. I enjoyed it. And again, good day again, Chris. And Bylog, why aren't you here? You have an invite.
He said, I love Bellwoods, but F them for making me drive down to the brewery 4 times in a month to just release all the stuff at once. He also says he'd like to do it with Erica. And Dollahan Brewing says, evening gents and Sir Dusty Rhodes. Cheers.
Doing it with Erica. You'll get beat up by one of the guys from Sawdust City if you try that, though. Probably with a mash paddle.
Alright, I'm going to jump out. I'll be right back.
Okay, we'll be here.
I'm looking on the Advent calendar page there, Chad, and it says the theme for 2015 is North American Breweries Coast to Coast.
Oh, see, earlier this year I read World.
2014 was Intercontinental, 2012 was European, 2013 was just North American. So.
Yeah. And they're supposed to be like, I think majority of them are specifically for the calendar.
Your microphone's doing that shitty weird thing again where it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
Just like your mom.
My mom does do that, you're right.
I'm called for Nicholas.
I'm going to drink next a Rickards White.
Ooh. Because you've never been accused of drinking white beers before.
No, never.
Are you just sad tonight or something? What is that?
What do you mean, what is that?
What is that?
It's a Rickards White.
I know, but why? Just
because it was in the fridge.
No.
You were
Wrong answer.
You weren't on today when I told you I went to the LCBO, and Cheryl scored another point in our ongoing war between the Rhino and Cheryl, sorry. Because I get up to the cash, and she looks at me and she goes, "Hi, Chad. Got your ID on you?" "Oh, you don't? Sorry, I can't sell to you." "Don't be mad." Okay. Why would I be mad? You're doing your job. I don't have my ID on me. Even though you know exactly who I am, where I live, how old I am, you sign off on my beer festival things over and over again. Don't worry.
Don't sign off on them.
Well, yeah, that's what this whole thing's about now, right? Is I got her in trouble by her big bosses. So now we have this little war going on.
How'd you get her in trouble?
Because she wouldn't sign off on something and denied it, even though she has no right to do so.
Oh.
Fantastic.
So it was a fun night. I got up there and I'm like, okay, bye. Go to the beer store, return my empties. There was one beer I haven't had at the beer store, so I pick it up and buy it. And he goes, hey, how are you? And he's talking to me. He goes, get anything new at the LCBO? I'm like, oh, I tried today. I got shut down for not having my ID. And he laughed at me. He goes, don't you go to like one LCBO and that's it? I go, yeah. He goes, okay, just wondering. Just like I only really go to one beer store because they're both close, right? I go to the one beer store that's close to me to drop off my empties. I'll never give them I'll never give them actual money out of my pocket. I'll only give them money that they've given to me for empties. So I had $7.50 on me. I bought the one beer that I have to review, and I bought 2 Radlers for tonight just because there's really not much in the fridge right now. So I left with my 3 beers and had $1.50 extra after my empties.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah. So anyway, what do you guys think of our newest cast member there? He's been in 2 videos now.
He drinks beer and he's on camera with you, so he's willing to do more than most people.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Probably get him to try other things than pumpkin beers.
Well, he wanted to really try pumpkin beers. He hadn't never tried any, so we tried some.
Is he sick of pumpkin beers now?
Yeah. He said that he thought he had the pumpkin beer shits that day at work. He got to work. He's like, yeah, those pumpkin beers didn't do very well to me.
Ew.
Should do a revisit of Coors Light.
Well, I mean, there's the thing, right? Just like most of the guys that end up being here, he started on Coors Light. But unlike most of the guys that started on Coors Light that do these videos, he has not hated his first few craft beers.
Well, I think if you start him a review with Coors Light, at least he can try to properly identify what he gets out of Coors Light, and then you move him on to something else, like Rickard's White, because I hear it's an amazing beer, and then step up the game even more.
You know what you should do, Joe? You should do just like a whole Oktoberfest taste test kind of thing going on there. Just all Oktoberfest all fucking day.
Right by a nice bonfire.
Yeah.
Fade to darkness over time.
I actually almost bought a Sam Adams Oktoberfest today, and then I didn't.
Yeah, I'm
the
not paying
best
$16 for 6
Yeah, well, that was it, right? It's
Holy fuck, 16.
But
well, that's like $4 American at this point, so that's not bad.
You can, because it was an LCBO open 6-pack. You can take just one bottle out, but again, she denied me, so I couldn't buy it anyway. But I was going to. I was looking at it while I was there.
Yeah,
I was looking at it while I was there.
Do you guys get Sam Adams Pumpkin Ale?
No, we did get the Fat Jack last year.
So they sent that instead of the regular?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I usually just get the Oktoberfest from them, but I've had their Harvest Pumpkin before. It's all right.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like most of Sam Adams products.
Mm. They do a lot of things. I guess you could say they do a lot of things good. They do some things well, but they never do anything super fantastic.
Well, I mean, I think they're bigger bottles where they get more creative, and you can find some gems. But a lot of their base stuff is just, it's usually well made for the style, but it's not anything spectacular. I think it's perfect for anyone trying to get into craft beer. Is what Sam Adams.
If you want to get an idea what a certain style tastes like, they usually do that pretty well.
Yeah, like their black lager, their cream stout. I mean, the Boston Lager itself is a decent Vienna lager. I mean,
the Imperial Stout from them is decent.
Mm-hmm.
The Rebel IPA for all those rebels out there.
I hate it.
Well, that actually was a decent beer.
Rebel IPA would have been a lot better if it was released like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it would have been groundbreaking 10 years ago. Now it's like, why?
Yeah, it's like, hey guys, we're hopping on the West Coast style IPA bandwagon. You're like, oh really?
Chocolate Box, not bad.
I was gonna say Chocolate Bock. They have a coffee one too in the winter packs. That's pretty good.
Black and Brew.
Yeah, Black and Brew.
Black and Brew.
I like their winter lager a lot.
I used to the one they used to only sell in the mix packs. They made a holiday porter, which was really solid, and then Old Fezziwig, which was basically
Fezziwig was pretty good.
I think I liked Old Fezziwig.
Yeah, it was one of the first, I'd say, like, Christmas spice beers. I mean, I don't know if they technically call it a winter warmer, but it was kind of in that vein. Really good.
I remember that was one where I seen plenty of reviews of it, and it was either like they really liked it or they really hated it.
Which one was that?
The Old Fezziwig.
Yeah, it was one of those polarizing beers where you either loved it or you hated it.
Well, I think the people who hated it probably strongly disliked the spices used in that beer, and the people who liked it were okay with it.
Just like when me and Chris were reviewing the Great Lakes this year, I was stuck on the cloves, and he's like, "Well, I don't really taste cloves." Well, I hate them, you don't, so that's probably where it comes down to it. I mean, if I gave him something that he hated, And he probably would taste it a lot more than me, just because he hates it.
You know what you should get him? I mean, if you drink it off camera, because I think you reviewed it at least once, if not a couple times. But Silversmith's Black Lager is something that he might. You know, it's in the lager vein, but at the same time, you're getting into the dark beer. And
I'm just excited that I have somebody that wants to come and share some beers with me again.
Is he excited?
Yeah.
Does he know how excited you are?
Yes, he saw the bulge. Right, DJ
Sharing excitement together.
He saw the hard nipples, more like it.
That too.
Swords.
This turned weird.
Yep.
Never.
It always turns weird. It always turns weird. Let's be honest.
No.
I think most sometimes people watch the show come for the weird part.
Well, they're all weird themselves, so it makes sense.
Sure, they are viewers of the Albino Rhino.
Most of us run an off-color or a blue humor kind of shit show on our channels anyway, so they're coming to watch us fucking swear at each other.
Yeah, definitely on my channel, no doubt.
What? Yeah, on your channel.
So to get into the big news of the week, guys.
Taken off of YouTube because of how fucked up you are.
The best thing about Joe's channel is that Joe's not on it.
I know.
Yeah.
Lots of big stories.
Nobody is.
This week. Lots of big stories this week in the beer world. Most of them revolving around AB InBev. First and foremost is AB InBev being investigated by the Department of Justice in the U.S. for basically antitrust issues. Purchasing wholesalers and then making it almost impossible for craft breweries to use those wholesalers, since in the U.S. you have to go through a distributing company. I thought this was pretty common knowledge, and they'd been doing it for a decade now, but apparently they just heard about it now.
Yeah, right. I think someone just got around to having the political pull to actually do something about it, but probably won't make any difference. He'll probably too many paid off politicians at this point, and business people who pay off politicians to, for them to be able to actually do anything about it. So,
I mean, the problem is that there is perfect evidence of it too. Like one of these is talking about Nico Ridge, the CEO of Ninkasi Brewing Company in Oregon, said that when two of his distributors were bought by AB InBev in 2012 and 2011, he saw what had been healthy sales growth quickly stall until he was able to find alternate distributors. So I mean, they have proof that it's happening, which I think is the one thing that's going to go against AB InBev this time. But I don't think anything's really going to happen.
Yeah,
that's always been the problem, right? Is these cases come up, and then there's absolutely no proof, right? They're like, well, all we can do is ask the brewery, or we can ask the bar if they got free taps or not, and if they say no, nothing we can do, Like, did AB InBev pay for all your tap system? They did, but the bar knows to say no. No, they didn't. We paid for it. Here's the receipt. Oh, okay. This is the first time that there's probably going to be hard proof where they go, look, here's what our sales were before, here's how many beers they picked up, or here's where they distributed us, and here's after it was bought. So I think this time there's going to be a good deal of hard proof. I just don't think anything's going to happen at all.
No. They'll just pay off people to look the other way.
Exactly what I foresee coming.
Or they'll need, like really hard evidence. Like, unless you got someone from Budweiser strong-arming a distributor and like shooting their dog, you're not really going to get anywhere.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
How rude.
Lee's in charge.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, DJ Crazy Chris says he's never drinking pumpkin anything ever again.
Oh.
Yeah, there's some good pumpkin beers out there. You
Shut
tried what's that one from Nova Scotia? Rare Bird. You try the Rare Bird pumpkin yet?
No, I'm never drinking another one of their products.
He's fucking pissed, Nick.
I don't like their shit. I don't like the shit. They're just shitty tourist beer. I'm never drinking another one of their fucking products again.
Fucking artisanal well water.
That's right.
This is made with
But you hated their full steam stout, didn't you?
All the subsequent batches. I liked it the first time around, but that's when Greg Nash was helping them brew. But as soon as he disappeared, they just went right into fucking
thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if their kitchen was, like tap setup where it's like right in a restaurant or some shit,
this Rockmill brewery that Ethan sent me. Naturally filtered artesian well water.
It probably comes from
Like most of the stuff he posts.
Probably comes from fucking dirty sewage from Ohio somewhere.
It probably comes from Dr. Dave, the beer professor's bathtub.
Ooh, I knew I tasted something salty, a little bitter.
Salty and lizard-like. DJ Crazy Chris says he'll be interested in doing coffee and chocolate beers with the Rhino, and apparently hard nipples as well. He either has them or is interested in them.
Well, can you review Chad's hard nipples when he shows up on camera?
I think that depends on how many coffee and chocolate beers he has.
Are you a coffee drinker, Chris? Because if you are, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at some good coffee beers anyway.
Yeah.
Laughing Dog's on Coffee Imperial Porter was great.
Man, Jordan, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with your mic, man, but it's just doing that in and out thing again. At least it is for me. I don't know about anyone else. But
Is your mic on your webcam? Is it a part of your computer, or is it completely separate?
Webcam.
Yeah, you might. Are you on a laptop or a desktop?
Laptop.
You should see if in the settings, the G plus settings here, see if you can switch to your laptop's microphone, which most have a microphone. See if that helps.
Yeah.
Sorry I had to run, guys. I had some issues to take care of upstairs, and then on my way downstairs, I almost died stepping on Lego. Oh, my foot is wooden shit.
Seems appropriate.
Yeah, it's good.
Anyway.
Lego equals death.
It really does. I mean, fucking Lego. Like, kids love their Lego, and you get them Lego, and then it just takes over the house, and it's the middle of the night, you're going to the washroom, you're somewhere where Lego shouldn't be, you're just about to step in front of the toilet, all of a sudden you step on a little piece of Lego and you die. Like, it's retarded. Sorry for that word, but it's retarded. Next piece of information, next news story is AB InBev and Sab Miller have inked a $104 billion principal deal. It will still have to go through a few different countries' court systems to see about antitrust and everything else, and there will be things that have to be worked out still on it. But biggest sale ever, $104 billion, which would give AB InBev over 500 beer brands across the world.
And most importantly, they just knocked out their biggest competition, the only real competition they have.
Yep.
Everything else after that is just like Heineken and them.
Heineken, Molson Coors, and
the combined powers of every craft brewery out there, which doesn't mean much when it's not a consolidated thing.
Yep. Yeah. There is a lot of talk about this sale, mostly because basically you could see the price of beer skyrocket in a lot of places because now they own everything, so they don't care what they charge because you're going to have to buy it. You look at the mega company breakdowns, they both had 200 plus brands. The global sales for AB InBev was $31 billion. The global sales for Saab Miller was $17 billion. Saab Miller had a 9.7% global market share. AB InBev had a 20.8% global market share. Bottles of beer sold was $139 billion for AB InBev and $73.5 billion for Saab Miller. Their best-selling product for Saab Miller was Snow Beer, which is the #1 selling beer in the world. It's most of you wouldn't know what it is unless you live in China. Sure. And for AB InBev, it's Budweiser. Saab Miller had 69,000 employees. AB InBev had 155,000 employees. Their headquarters, Belgium for AB InBev, of course, and London for Saab Miller. So there's the breakdown. I don't know how many of those employees, those 69,000 employees, will be kept, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of redundant jobs that end up having to get scrapped, because you're not going to have 2 territory managers and 2 this and 2 that and 2 this.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows how many are ended up being kept? But when you think about it, that is a huge amount of employees between 2 different brewing companies. Huge amount of employees.
That's nuts. I mean, you're right. There's going to be a lot of people losing their job. Probably going to be influx of professionals into other brewing companies, and especially maybe even craft breweries. They'd be looking.
Oh yeah, you're going to see an influx across Europe, especially, and North America, of professionals coming into both marketing and sales and even brewing into craft breweries, because this is what happens usually when a big brewery is taken over by another big brewery. Is there are these openings, or you're going to see an influx of a lot of breweries opening up, guys that got a good payout when they're let off.
Yeah.
Case in point, say things like Steam Whistle. Steam Whistle opened up after Labatt bought off Upper Canada, and that was 2 guys whose fathers were the manager and the owner of Upper Canada, and then they opened up their own brewing company. A lot of these have happened that way. Muskoka has some good guys from Molson working there. Some people from Creemore have gone on to open up their own breweries. You see it everywhere now. Labatt Brewers going off and opening their own breweries. It's not that they don't know how to brew beer. They actually are amazing at brewing beer. It's just this is what they're told to brew, so this is what they have to brew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're right about the prices. I mean, there's nothing really to stop them from raising their prices, because all they really have to compete with now is not really so much other macro brands as they are to compete with local craft breweries in whatever region. So it's like, if a craft brewery is charging this much for their beer, which is usually a few dollars more than what a standard beer from a macro would cost, the macro can justify now, oh, we could up it $1. We're still cheaper than the fucking craft guys, but
Well, I mean, if you think about it in another way, right? Go to your average hole-in-the-wall bar, right? You're going to have Canadian, like here in Ontario at least, you're going to have Canadian, Coors Light, Bud Light, Blue, MGD, maybe a Guinness. Right there, 7 brews. 2 of them are their competitors. The other 5 are either theirs or contracted through them. Yeah. Like, they can charge whatever they want now. Because 5 out of 7 times, you're going to pick one of their brands regardless.
Mm-hmm. Hey, guys, look who it is.
Brews under review.
You better not fall asleep on this show. You can fall asleep on his own hangouts, but...
I don't think I ever saw it coming. I don't think I ever saw, this type of a sale coming. And Corona's theirs too. So I mean, you'll probably get Corona at the bar. There you go. They don't care about the charge of Corona as well.
Jesus.
Like they own so much now that it's not even funny.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And I mean, a lot of the European brands were Saab Miller brands, so now they have all those as well. Like maybe you're at an Italian restaurant and they're selling Peroni or something. AB InBevs. Like they just have the market on everything now. I mean, like you said, Heineken. If it's brewed in Ireland, Diageo products for now, because Diageo's going to be bought by them sometime soon too.
It's looking that way.
Yeah, and Molson Coors products, as well as your craft brewers. There's not many independent big brewers. Oh well, Moosehead. Who knows? Moosehead probably will get bought at some point.
Probably.
I mean, they are one of the last bastions of independence in Canada. So
I hope they don't anytime soon.
Well, you know what? I would hope they don't either, because if I'm at a bar that has them, they're what I'll buy now, because the money all stays in Canada.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I know what you're getting at. I hope they don't get bought out. But I mean, they are probably the most macro of any independent brewery in Canada right now, after Mill Street.
Actually, so segueing into that is the next story. Is again an AB InBev purchase, and that is of the Mill Street Brewery in Toronto, Ontario. So they got it's an undisclosed amount. I know their retail space alone was worth about 60 million, like their locations.
Fuck.
So they probably got a good penny for their stuff, because this is what they get out of this purchase, right? They get a brand name that is recognized across most of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not you like it, it's a brand name that's recognized across most of Canada and parts of the U.S. now. They get 2 brew pubs, one in Ottawa, one in the Distillery District of Toronto, which is worth a fucking pretty penny. They get a production brewery in Scarborough, which they are putting $10 million into expanding and making bigger. They get a distillery and distilling license, the beer hall in the Distillery District of Toronto.
Yeah.
And they get the trademark and copyright to the Nitro tab that they use for the cobblestone
Right.
and the vanilla porter. So here's a few things that come up to mind right away. First and foremost, my first question was, where will the Ontario Brewers Association do all their meetings and stuff in Toronto now? Everybody says Steam Whistle, but I don't know if Steam Whistle's big enough. They just took over the whole beer hall every time they do stuff in Toronto lately.
And who wants to go to Steam Whistle anyway, because their beer sucks?
Second, there is a photo on the news article of them all sharing a beer. And the news article was posted at 9:44 a.m. Apparently, the paperwork was signed at 9:15 a.m. And they're all holding a beer up in this news article that was posted at 9:44 a.m. And they're like, this picture is from today's signing of da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, but you're not allowed to pour a beer at a brewery until 11 a.m. Where's the law? Like, where's the AGCO on that?
Maybe it was a leftover from last night.
Yeah, leftover.
Yeah.
So, I mean, joking aside, though, the first two are me just being a stupid troll. Things that I'm curious about. What is AB InBev going to do with a distilling license? Are we going to start seeing, like, Bud rice wine? Like,
Isn't there already Sapporo? Oh, that's a different kind.
Like, and the Nitro tab. What are they going to start doing with the nitrogen tablet? When am I going to start
Nitro
seeing...
Budweiser!
No, not Nitro Budweiser. This is what I'm thinking. Labatt Extra Dry Nitro.
Yep, Nitro malt liquor all day, sons.
I figured they'd probably be fixing to make a stout of their own, Nitro stout of their own, to compete with Guinness. Why not?
Labatt.
Well, especially now that Guinness is pulling its contracts out, right?
Yeah.
So they're pulling their contract from Labatt, so Labatt loses anything to do with the Nitro widget, but they have the Nitro tab, so they can do whatever the fuck they want now. Still, they can go away. We don't care.
Just makes sense. Like that's a really big get for them to have like that patent and Nitro thing, because
I'm a sucker for Nitro. I'm kind of interested to see what they'll do with that, if they do anything at all.
I still Labatt. I know you'll never watch this video, but I want in my face right now, because it's going to suck, and I'll review it with the Cantankerous Cook, and he'll probably punch me again. I want Labatt Extra Dry Nitro.
Fuck.
Well, how about Labatt 50? Make it a legit cream ale.
Oh, no, man. Don't give them dumb ideas. Here's the thing, though. 98% of their consumer base drink their beer ice cold, so it shouldn't explode on them.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll find a way to make that tab work better now that they got so much more.
Now they have their own research team in it. They'll probably find a way to make it better. Like probably just differing the ratios of CO2 to nitrogen is probably all they really need to do.
Yeah. There's a comment here from our friend Marvin. He said Red Stripe sold to Heineken. Was that a recent thing? Red Stripe being sold to Heineken, or is that? I can't recall.
I don't know if it's all that recent. It may be a recent full-on sale. They may have just had rights to it, like distributing rights, because when Molson gave me Molson had given me some free 6-packs of beer tokens, and Red Stripe and Heineken were both on there. So Heineken would have had to have something to do with Red Stripe at the time.
Right on.
And I bought them, and Ali Alejandro and Tim drank them. The Honey Monster.
Yeah.
Like everybody, the amount of hatred on the internet for this sale is immense. Lots of people freaking out. Oh my God, I can't support Mill Street anymore. If you don't want to support them anymore because they're not local, that's fine and dandy. But if you think it's just going to be the quality of the beer goes down, shake your head, son, because the beer wasn't the greatest quality beer to me.
Yeah.
Son!
Yeah, that's very true.
The
Mill Street
run
beer
of the mill joke is full on true. The one thing you can say about Mill Street is they're solid in the way that beer usually wasn't bad. It's just, did anything really blow me away? No, other than the nitro beers, and they are what they are. I'm a sucker for nitro beers too. The vanilla porter I'm a sucker for. The cobblestone stout I think had a lot more flavor than Guinness and even Murphy's and all the others. Those were their saving graces to me. I liked the lemon tea beer. A lot of people hated it. I thought it was good. They had some good beer, but for the most part, it was run of the mill. Nothing was under a 5, but it was, it is what it is.
Oh, I got some. I think there's a few under 5.
There's a lot under 5.
Let's put it this way. I mean, they're organic lager. Let's face it, guys. It's just not going to be the same now.
Yeah.
It's no innocent.
Not gonna be okay.
Just because you said organic lager, that segues into something hysterical. A few hours after this was released, Bose came out with a press conference, and their press release was basically yay for them selling, because Bose Brewery now is Canada's largest craft producer of organic beer.
Nice.
They go on about how, with the sale of Mill Street, we are now Canada's largest producer of this. Our phones have been ringing off the hook with people ordering our organic beer because we are still craft, and that's amazing to me.
That's actually more surprising than them just being like, we're selling out too, bitches! Like, that's what they should have said.
I mean, it's hysterical that was Bo's response, but at the same time, knowing the guys at Bo's, that is pretty much what I should have expected as their response. And it's a true-on response, Sell out, that's great for you, we're number 1.
It's funny because you said earlier, like, the hate on the internet is ridiculous, and it's like, well, it is the internet. I mean, that's what they do. That's what the internet does. Even like with the Heineken and Lagunitas thing, where it's 50-50, and other breweries like getting bought out like 10% of their fucking ownership. Like Dogfish Head, it's like, oh boy, everything's gonna change for the worse, guaranteed, before you even know anything about the deal, let alone how the beers are gonna improve or change or anything. That's just how people are.
And it's fucking Mill Street. It's fucking Mill Street. Oh no, is your favorite from them the 100th Meridian fucking lager or whatever? Is that really gonna go down in quality when it's already fucking borderline shit anyway?
I'm not trying to make fun of Sam or Steve or Joel or anybody else at Mill Street, because I actually am friends with them all. They're all good guys. But yeah, it was a brewery that was basically primed to sell. Apparently, years ago, there was rumors it was selling to Molson, and when AB InBev bought Goose Island, the Molson sale fell through for some reason, and probably because he figured he could sell to AB InBev. I do know that one of the reasons they did not sign up for either of my festivals was because this sale was in the works, and he told me he knew I would lambaste him on public social media if he had said yes and then sold out. Now, one of my true criticisms of the sale is there an antitrust issue in that Steve Abrams did have a very large role with the OCB. He was on the board that was negotiating the deal with the Ontario government and the beer store about upping, like, with the grocery stores and the beer store sales and all that. He was on that board. Is it an antitrust issue that he was working on a sale with AB InBev while he was negotiating rights for craft brewers?
Could be.
Yeah, I think it's just basically speculation. Who knows? I mean, maybe not. I don't know.
Well, the argument can be made, regardless of whether or not he actually created a problem, the argument can be made that he didn't actually try his hardest to get the best deal for a craft brewer, knowing that he was going to be sold soon.
You'd have to be an asshole to do something
like
but
that. We're talking craft beer, right? There's a lot of assholes out there.
There are, but according to you just said they're great guys, so...
Those guys are great guys, but there's even assholes on the other side that will say he did it just to...
Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't affect us. Fuck it. How about that?
Yeah, how about that? Their beer sucks pretty much for the most
Well,
part anyway. I don't really care if they sell it or not. Marvin says Red Stripe beer was owned by Diageo PLC. It was sold to Heineken 2 weeks ago. So
Oh, I didn't even read that anywhere on the internet.
he put a link in the comments there.
But like I said, they had to have some type of deal in place with Heineken that was in place with Molson. But what Diageo likes to do is give all of its licensing rights to different breweries. I mean, what was it? Guinness Extra Stout in the U.S. was being brewed in Moosehead and being distributed by Moosehead. Guinness Extra Stout in Canada was being brewed by Labatt and distributed by Labatt. I mean, that's what Diageo does really well, is move it. Diageo reminds me a lot of Pabst, like PBR. They are mostly move distributing and licensing agreements around to places that they think can do the best job for them.
To go back to Mill Street for a second, I think they got pretty much lost in the shuffle. If you think about Mill Street, they were prominent players at I guess you would say, the craft beer revolution, at least in Ontario, right? 20 years ago. I mean, they were doing things that not many other breweries were, because there weren't a shit ton of craft breweries, and they were at the forefront of that. And you might say whatever, okay, the Organic Lager or the Meridian or even Tank House, right? If you think about that beer 10, 15 years ago, that was almost something that was unheard of back then. You know, I think the issue with Mill Street, at least from our perspective and a lot of veteran craft beer drinkers, is that they got lost in the shuffle because they kind of rested on their laurels. Like, hey, here's Tank House, here's our staples. They really didn't get creative like a lot of other breweries did. So I think that's why people think of them as just being that average run-of-the-mill craft brewery.
You look at Tank House, and Tank House was probably their biggest.
And it's still a good beer. It's still a good.
But it is basically the grandfather of what a lot of beer writers and beer bloggers and all that now dub the Ontario Pale Ale, because that's basically the taste of most pale ales that are made in Ontario. Like, a lot of pale ales have those same characteristics, and that all came from, wow, that's a nice hog going down your street.
Holy shit.
A lot of those pale ales have a lot of those same flavors, and that's perfectly fine because they're good flavors. But like you said, 10 or 15 years ago, that would have been, oh my god, amazing. Now it's like a Sam Adams. It's like, okay, it's still good.
I was just going to say that you can make comparisons to Sam Adams. Yes, Sam Adams is a shit ton bigger, and if they were to sell out to, say, AB InBev, you're talking hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even to the high hundreds of millions of dollars. But there can be comparisons made. Same thing with Sam Adams. When they come to the forefront, there was, Sierra Nevada, Anchor. There was a handful of craft breweries. So for a long time, they were thought of as, oh my god, that beer's so different, whatever, let's get it. Nowadays, Sam Adams is looked at as we just talked about earlier. They make beer for the introductory.
You keep getting more and more cutting-edge breweries as the years go by. This one's better than this one. This one's better than this one. You're trying different and stuff. But as you get older, you're committed to your standard base. Like Mill Street. How old is Mill Street anyway? Did they come out? Was it the 90s or something?
Late 90s, early 2000s. I don't remember the exact date off the top of my head.
Yeah, but then they created a series of beers that they preach to an audience that's used to drinking their beers, so they want to keep that audience.
That's the problem right there, right? Like they had a huge following in Toronto, people coming all over the place to the distillery district. They can't just change their recipe up and have that same following. It was a fairly hipster brewery, as we've said before, because that's where, and I think that's why there's so much hate on it, is it was a lot of hipsters freaking out that it was sold. They have their incense going, they can't drink their OPAs anymore. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say, I had a conversation with one guy who was talking about the quality going down really, really far. And I'm like, you know what, the true thing that's going to happen is the same thing that happened with Creemore. The recipes will stay the same because they bought it basically for the name recognition and to be able to go into a bar and say this. Oh, you don't want to sell Labatt? You like craft beers? Well, we have this on profile. Do you want to use this? They use it for market share gaining. And, I mean, they won't change the recipes right away if they change them at all. But what will change is once that $10 million is put into that brewery, one of the things you know is going into that brewery is a full sterile filter. Once that full sterile filter is up and running, the beer will taste slightly different. But people will say it tastes different tomorrow because it was bought last week.
The placebo effect, for sure. And
Yeah. But I'm just saying, people that say, "Oh, Mill Street's the quality of their beers has dropped in the last couple of years." It's like, no, the quality of Mill Street's beers was always like that. They've made the same tank house for how many years? But the fact is that everything around it has gotten better.
exactly, Nick. That's a perfect thing to
It's
say.
variable if it's actually better or if it's just not to your taste. Because I mean, the people that like, and this is the thing with all beer, the people that like it a lot, and it's true. The people that like Mill Street love Mill Street, and it's sad to me that they're already against Mill Street because it's sold out. I understand the concept of it, and like I said, if you're doing like a Ewart thing, and I said that because I just saw the whale come in. If you're doing that and you're like, I don't want to support them for this and this reason, that's fine. But if you're not saying I'm not supporting them because their quality is going to go down, you know nothing about what's going to happen yet. And again, the only thing that really should change is once the sterile filter's in, there will be a difference in taste because there will be absolutely no particles left in the beer at all.
I'm expecting Mill Street the quality of their beer to go down, but I don't think the quality of beer is going to go down overnight. I mean, it's going to go down once they introduce this new filtering system, and once they start, like InBev starts tampering with their recipes to streamline their quality of their ingredients that they use in this. But I don't think it's going to happen right away. The first several batches, it may take over a year before something like that happens. And I don't think
It take longer than that.
as bad as some people expect.
The sad thing is that there are some Mill Street diehards out there who actually give a fuck.
And what I was going to say earlier is that, like, the reason why a lot of those people, it's crazy to me, but like Mill Street, when it was introduced, there was nothing else better than like what they were putting out in terms of like flavor profiles or whatever. Like, you get Tank House and you're like, holy shit, this has hops in it. What's going on?
Yeah, it's like
Nowadays,
hops.
yeah, now, well, oh my god, I can actually taste the hops. It's just not for bittering.
This thing's got fruity flavors to it. Holy shit!
And nowadays, every fucking day, there's a new brewery opening up that's innovative or at least different. And those people, for some reason, the diehards and the guys who really like Mill Street, give me an example, Bellwoods. How many diehard Mill Street drinkers are going to go over to Bellwoods to try their stuff up if they're just happy with what Mill Street's making? It's like, it's one of those things where at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be a huge issue, but people like to jump to conclusions because that's what we do as humans.
Maybe they'll make a proper Tasters Pack now that they're owned by a better company.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, the biggest thing I'm expecting to see is that Mill Street products will probably make more and more inroads into like the average bar. 'Cause I know that I go to like one of the most macro-ish bars in town, like up down under by where I work, is like they now serve Shock Top and stuff like that.
Oh, baby, Shock Top, baby, that's where it's
Shock
at.
Top, baby.
Oh, baby, some Shock Top you should not. Blue Moon, oh, that's right. You guys can't tell Blue Moon over there. I forgot about that.
Oh,
No.
Blue Moon is here in Canada now, but it's called Belgian Moon.
Oh, baby, Belgian Moon, baby, Blue Moon. It's all the thing. Get an orange slice up in there. Oh, it's so great.
You know what? Actually, that was my next question for you guys. Who do you think is the next Ontario brewer to be bought out, or is the next one primed to be bought out? Like, would be the next target? For
Probably
me,
Walkerville.
hopefully,
They wish.
these are the top three in my mind, and the reasons why. Steam Whistle, because it's national. It's a national brewery. It's
They only
huge.
make 2 beers though, right? Or one beer
They
and one.
suck.
But the
They
market
suck.
share they'll get on it right there and then. Like,
They
truthfully,
suck.
are across the country.
You've been bought out yet?
So Steam Whistle, because they're huge.
They suck.
Yeah, well, fuck off. Steam Whistle, Bose. I know nobody wants Bose to be bought out. I don't want them either, but they are another one that has huge name recognition and is fairly large in Ontario. And I could see it happening just for that. And lastly, and this one's for a different reason, the Amsterdam Brewing Company. And why the Amsterdam Brewing Company? Because they keep buying trademarks and copyrights on all the names of the big brewers' beers.
They would certainly be a target for me.
Amsterdam's probably a target, yeah.
If they could buy Amsterdam, they wouldn't have to call Goose Island Goose anymore. They would be able to bring in like whatever they wanted right away, and they could sell Blue Moon's name back to Molson for like $1 billion.
Yeah.
I think Bose would make a lot more sense though. They're huge. They're in the States. They have name recognition. They make 4,000 billion different beers, and they are.
they're associated with like grade D celebrities like Tom Green.
Oh yeah, definitely all about Tom Green. And Ewart loves them. Ewart loves everything they do.
Wow. A lot more so than I'd say the average amount of Bose beers versus Amsterdam beers that I'd love for the whole portfolio is Bose is a better brewery for me. But I mean, from the business side, I can't see them going to Bose. Amsterdam makes way more sense just on the trademarks and just the fact that I was gonna say
Midnight Mass from Brimstone. Go ahead.
I was also say Muskoka is another one.
Oh, I forgot all about Muskoka. You are correct. Another one that would be a big target. Especially because if you bought Muskoka, you single-handedly took the vice president of the OCB out of rotation.
Yeah.
Because all they did with Steve was take a chairman out. Who cares about that, right?
And they're pretty prominent in the States now too, or at least in New York here. I don't know where else they are, but they send a lot of this shit over.
But I mean, these guys there's a lot more at hand than simple superficial things that we're pointing out. Like OCB guy means, honestly, I'm sure means very little other than just a political, just makes life a little bit easier. But there's reasons that guys like Elysian get bought out or Golden Road. There are guys who are obviously open to being bought that are in good financial spots to be purchased. Either they're desperate or they turn over a lot of good. There's just so many things going on that the bean counters pick these guys, and I mean, it's beyond beer nerd strategy, right? So
yeah, I like that beer nerd strategy. No, I mean, and it's a two-way street too. I mean, they can target whatever. I mean, how many times have you heard over the last, at least I have over the last 6 months, Cigar City being targeted by AB InBev? I've heard it like a half dozen times. Nothing's there right now. Same thing with Dogfish and things of that nature. So obviously, these guys, $1 billion company, they know probably 600 times more than we do, and there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we probably don't even realize when it comes to these purchases.
Yeah, some of it's a lot of it's about distribution channels. I mean, there's good sides for certain things. Like Nick was talking about Mill Street getting into certain places. I mean, these guys, these account managers now have Mill Street they're gonna have to deal with, and they're gonna have quotas. So just based on that alone, Mill Street's going to they're gonna kill off the brand if that's the strategy to kill off their craft things, just buy them out and kill them, or they're going to leverage them some more and they're just going to beef them up and turn them into a bunch of shock top juniors,
Yeah, I have it on probably good authority that AB InBev, the only reason they haven't bought up Cigar City at this point is they mistakenly got in the line for Honeypoo Day in 2014 and they're still waiting.
Exactly. Yeah, that's probably it. Actually, Cigar City is an interesting choice because they are big, but they pretty much own the state of Florida in terms of the biggest brewery in that state, and they get around.
And that would be a reason why they should be targeted right there, is they are basically owning Florida. That's why I think something like Steam Whistle would make sense for a big brewery here in Ontario, because they are everywhere in Ontario.
Well, and think about like this when it comes to Cigar City. Yes, they own Florida, but their distribution is pretty much shit at this point. They get to some places on the East Coast, but it's very infrequent. So a place like AB InBev buys it out. Not only do they fucking conquer Florida, but then they probably can get all the way up the East Coast, at the very least, the entire East Coast into the Midwest.
Right.
I mean, you're talking tons of profit and revenue and all kinds of great things for that brand.
Yep.
Now, who knows about the quality and whatever, but at the end of the day, they're looking at the bottom line.
Yeah,
and it would
absolutely.
Be good for them.
Absolutely, and that's exactly like if you ever watch the thing you watch a Shark Tank or whatever. It's they're not just thinking about not what's in it necessarily for AB InBev, but what's in it for them, and they put their like they put themselves in their shoes in order to have a good negotiation. Like we're gonna approach the guy from Cigar City because he's trying to do all these things. He'd like to expand. We're gonna let him have at it, but we're gonna put some money in, give him his channels, maybe throw a little bit towards capex, but we're gonna take a rip off of every sale he makes to get him that spot, and in turn, and then obviously promote him with, along our, piggyback on our stuff. He'd be like, well, I want to do all those things, and I don't want to do it with you guys, but I don't know how else to do it, and you guys going to pay me to do it? All right, let's do it. That's what they're trying to leverage, what these guys their objectives are, right? So.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I don't like talking shop. Fuck that.
Fuck that noise, son!
Yeah. Hey, what's everybody drinking tonight? I missed that part.
Well, I'm on Brimstone's Midnight Mass Oatmeal Stout.
Uh-huh.
I'm drinking what is appropriate for a beer that was given to me by Ethan. It's Rockmill Brewery's bottle conditioned unfiltered triple that is almost 2 years old, and I mentioned most of his topics. And it also, when I busted it open, it fucking spewed everywhere, kind of like the bullshit that is spewed by Ethan on a regular basis. So.
Is that a rant, Joe? Is that a rant?
Baby, that is a rant. And put a bottle, oh, there's a bottle date on there. Sorry, guy, that went on for 7 minutes about no bottle date, but it's right there in front of me.
They don't know. This is a positive rant. That's what this is. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
This is a 2.5. Oh, Bells, I just want your penis, like, in my mouth, not, like, in the cheek or anything, like, right in my mouth. Because, you know,
I mean, they were licking my balls, so I was working their shaft. It was a mutual...
Oh, they responded to me. I'm so happy.
We tossed each other's salad on social media, baby.
Oh, they told me how they don't watch my beer reviews at all. They're like, oh, you reviewed it? You probably said it was shit, and they don't even know because they're not going to watch it, baby.
Cheers. That's what the response was. Hey, Greg's beer reviews responded to me. He said cheers to me once.
Oh, so
you
now
just sent like a 7 fucking paragraph response, and they just said cheers back to him.
Now that you're here, how was the LaSalle Beer Festival?
That good, eh?
Maybe two thumbs up. 2 thumbs way up.
No, it was fine. I mean, I had a good time. I mean, I was there with friends, and I had my fill. And I've never at a beer festival that I can recall, maybe the Windsor one, where I went back for seconds of anything, because usually there was enough to go around that I didn't need to go back for seconds. But I ran out very quickly of things that I wanted to try or haven't had before. But, no, I mean, there were some surprises. The local guys really were shining. I mean, shit. And then we had one brewery that didn't show up at all. I've given A shit on this. It's Bell City out of Brantford. They were on the list. No show. I'm like, where are they?
Who did that at the Detroit Fest last year?
Some no-show story?
Bell City was the no-show in LaSalle. And in Detroit was...
I had a no-show at my festival, too, and it was... it was Publican House. Publican House was a no-show. And it was funny because Publican House had sent me a message on the Thursday saying, just making sure I still have an outdoor spot. I'm like, yeah, you're good. And then Saturday he didn't show.
Confirmation that he's just taking up a spot that someone else would have filled. He's like, fucking right. If I can't be there, no one else.
Exactly.
I can't remember the Detroit one, but it was weird because there was a booth there for them, and like they had their little fucking logo and shit. And I was like, oh, there's no one here. I was like, where are these guys to the brewery next door? And like, I don't know. I'm like, all right, great.
Yeah. Do I want to say Beards? Was it Beards?
It might have been Beards. I don't know. There's like 800 breweries at that fest, so I don't know. Like,
I don't know. I can't keep track of. Yeah.
But the only reason why I remembered is because we got the enthusiast membership and we got in early, we went right to Greenbush and it was on the way to Greenbush and there's an empty spot. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Mm-hmm.
This is not a professional beer fest, damn it.
Yeah. Speaking of Greenbush, can't wait for hot dog beer. Can't wait.
Oh baby, I can't wait to taste it. I'm not wasting a fucking checking on that bullshit.
How was the Midian beers? Did you try? What did Midian pour? I really liked how you asked them what they were going to pour, and they just thumbed you up. It was basically like Greg's Cheers.
Yeah, I said, "What beers you're bringing?" And they brought one beer. It's their cask ale.
Oh fuck!
And I don't like cask beers, but mostly because people take a beer that they've already done and they just put it on cask, which I don't. And now I'm starting to realize it doesn't necessarily translate the best. Versus if you brew a beer solely designed to be on cask, which is what they did.
That's why the English are so good at cask beers, because they do that. They brew a beer specifically for the cask.
Yeah, and they did. It was delicious. I'm like, holy shit, this is actually really good.
Ethan, you were liked an actual cask beer. What the fuck? What is that? Well, I also think, too, when it comes to cask beers, getting there right at the beginning of the Festatron is great because
they're not warm as fuck yet.
2-3 hours in, they are seriously like 70, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. You're like, no, just no. This isn't even room temperature.
9% alcohol stout me and you had from Turtle Island.
Yeah, like no.
Like summer temperature by the time we got to it.
Yeah, it's like it's fucking whatever out, whatever, like 25 degrees Celsius, and it's like this beer is also 25 degrees Celsius. Like, get it away from me.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah. Craft Heads has some interesting, actually a couple of really good beers. They had a chocolate peanut butter porter that was really good.
So they make good beer even though they have a horrible name.
Yes, and one day I will say something to their faces about it.
Why didn't you do it at the fest? You had it.
Oh, because
Good
man, I'm
opportunity.
just trying to keep it positive, man. You know,
Come on,
positive,
you were positive?
I was positive ranting, man.
Oh my god.
But they had this. Actually, they had a pumpkin peach saison called My Bud's Pumpkin Peach Saison, and it was damn good.
That's an awesome name.
It was. I said, dude, I love the name. He's just like, yeah. He's like, a lot of people don't actually get that joke. I'm like, what? But, hey, it was perfect.
Because
Actually,
they're probably Budweiser fans.
well, they don't watch it, or they don't get commercials, or they don't pay attention to commercials. But man, it smelled like peach, tastes like pumpkin, nice, easy. It was delicious, and I had a couple pours of that. Recommended to a few people. It's really good. So.
That didn't seem like too bad of a fest then.
No.
No. They
Sounds
had
like a good time.
Yeah, it was a great time. So
Why don't you bring me some growlers? Bring me some growlers.
I don't know. Maybe I'll go by there tomorrow, or I'll check them out. See if they have that on tap to get growler fill.
Does any of the breweries in the Windsor area sell bottles or cans other than Walkerville?
No.
No, that's unfortunate.
Hold on. No. The guys at Brew. Okay, what's the worst name? Craft Heads or Brew?
Brew. Brew is the most generic fucking thing you possibly could think of.
Exactly. So they sell flip top bottles of their stuff. To me, that's just a different form of growler. But they
How
sell
big
that.
are they?
They're a weird size too, because they're in blue bottles, blue flip tops. They're 500 mil, maybe. It's a weird little size. I've never seen a bottle like it. So it looks like a tall, it almost looks like a 650, but just a little shorter.
Nice.
Wow, that's a pretty.
The problem with blue is blue actually skunks actually it skunks faster than green is what we found out.
Because it's on the wave spectrum of the UV.
Yep.
Looking at craft heads, they're priced relatively decent for a howler. $8 a pour for a howler and
Nice.
10 for a premium beer. And they do sell howlers, which is nice. You don't have to buy an entire 64-ounce fucking growler.
I think I'm gonna have to get Mr. Big E. If you ever come to Niagara again, you gotta contact me. I gotta buy some bottles off you.
Will do.
Isn't there one called Surly Brewing out there? Isn't there a brewery called Surly
There's a
Brewing?
lot of
Minnesota?
breweries now in Windsor. I mean, when you think about it, there's Motorheads, there's Craft Heads, Brew, Walkerville, Midian, technically. That's 5 right there. Is there any more?
There's one out in Kingsville called Banded Goose.
What now? Banded Goose?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
will
think
say this: the Windsor area has the worst fucking names in the history of mankind when it comes to breweries.
I mean, we can name it so many things like Border Runners, just like all kinds of stuff. But man, alive, it's just
Craft Beer Brewing Company. Just fucking make it simple. Fucking it's unbelievable.
Oh, so DJ Crazy Chris says he's never drinking another pumpkin anything.
Yeah, we already got to that.
Yeah, he seems like he's done with those. He wants to try chocolate and coffee beers though.
Yeah, we're way ahead of you here, Chad.
Any other comments going on?
Yeah, we got some more here. Bylog says the best thing about Mill Street is that a lot of places have the organic or tank houses as their only alternatives to the big guys, and it saves him from having to drink a macro or save money and just not drink. Winter is Coming says I could see Molson or Labatt's buying up Lake of Bays in the near future.
Please buy them.
I don't think they do that. They don't make the profit that they would want.
Well, does AP InBev have a butterbeer? Because they could just definitely get.
Well, that would be Grand River. That would be Grand River.
Oh, that's right.
Lake of Bays is the end. Actually, I was at the LCBO today, and one of the things they had was the NFL Aluminum Pilsner, which comes in a 1.89 liter growler. Basically, it's like a Bubba keg. Basically, it's a big bubble bottle, and it was $16 for that. And I'm like, I will not review that because I am not paying $16 for beer that's going to be shit.
You know, what I think would be amazing would be a Lake of Bays and Grand River collaboration beer.
No, fuck no.
Come on.
A buttery ice beer.
Yes, why not? I mean, it can't be any worse than the shit they have currently.
Isn't butterbeer like a Harry Potter thing? They could just try to get a license of that, and then they'd be set. They'd be making lots of money.
bunch of root beer beers coming out, and ginger beers that are actual beers. Yes, the butter beer is the next thing. The Harry Potter butter beer.
So they'd be like Dark Horse. They just call it, fucking Sour of the Woods or whatever, and it wouldn't actually really be that, but
Butter of the Woods. Yeah, you got it.
yeah, there you go. Bylog says Amsterdam makes the most sense to buy, but I hope it doesn't happen. Their special releases and one-offs are usually really good, despite their regular lineup being meh at best.
Well, I mean, if they're bought up, it doesn't mean their specialty and one-offs aren't any good.
Goose Island.
Look at Goose Island.
Yeah. That's a misconception with the big places. Everyone just thinks automatically their fucking quality's going down. All the good shit they make is just done. It's like it all depends on what they feel about the actual brand. And I think with Amsterdam, they probably not fuck around with like barrel-aged Double Tempest. They probably wouldn't like do anything or any of their special releases.
And I mean, Amsterdam makes sense, one, for the trademarks and copyrights, and two, because they're not just getting Amsterdam beers, they're actually buying the rights to the Kawartha Lakes beers as well. That aren't great, let's be honest, they aren't great, but these breweries, these big guys just want to keep sapping up more and more market share. So even if they get 0.5% from the Kawartha Lakes beers and 1% from the Amsterdam beers, they're excited. They got 1.5% out of that purchase.
Yeah, that's all they care about is the market share. And I mean, if it comes to the point where whatever ingredients or whatever process they use to brew those specialty beers starts costing them more money than they want, then they'll start making changes. But otherwise, they won't, because it makes no sense to.
So we basically are out of topics. Our topics were basically all the Anheuser-Busch stuff. So if any of the 8 viewers we have right now has comments, throw them out. Anything you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, 20 Valley Brewers was officially bought out. That sale completed recently.
Well, shit, I'm not supporting them anymore. What a turnaround too, man. They just started a little while ago.
Yeah, that was their sole objective. I've heard from the CEO myself.
Fuck.
I think the worst part is that is the name they're going with now too. Is like it's even up on the Mom and Hop site.
What? How's that possible? I've already have it registered on Facebook. Not possible. although I keep getting reports of all the views I'm getting on that page. I'm like, who's looking at this? I don't know.
Well, since 20 Valley got bought out, they own the trademark, don't they? They can just start suing these fuckers.
Exactly. Hey, man.
Yeah.
They're going to have to... I'm the squad on that Facebook site.
Oh, you're going to make a lot of money.
I'll sell the Facebook site to you, brother. Like, yeah, I'm sure that's going to fly.
Yeah, no, and the worst part is, these are guys that, had their full-on... And I like the guys from Brock Brewing. They're all good guys. I've talked to them several times. These are guys that... And like I said, my biggest problem with Brock Street was the way they went about their problem with them. Regardless of whether you were right or wrong, you don't bring that into the public eye to fucking badmouth them. But these are guys that don't understand the law at all, so they would probably pay you or big money to get the fucking name off of them.
If they ever show up at one of your fests, are you just going to refer to the guy as Wheels? Because that would be fantastic.
They actually are going to the November festival.
If I see that prick, I'll be calling Wheels. I don't give a fuck.
I don't know if he's showing up, but the Brock Street itself is going to the November festival.
Well, the important thing is there going to be wheelchair access to your festival.
Well, that's the great thing about the Sanctuary is it has that wheelchair elevator.
There you go. I could help him. I could push him down it.
You can berate him while you're helping him.
Yeah. The greatest part about it all, and we started our paperwork for the May Festival 2 weeks ago. And I'm there at Brimstone doing the paperwork, talking to Al and talking to Jason, and Jason's like, how many breweries are we doing for November? I'm like, I capped it at 12, because 12 is more than some festivals have. And I think when we did our first festival, we had 18 in this building, and it was cramped as fuck. I think 12 gives us a good enough room that we can move around, we can have a better time. He's like, yeah, that's great. And he goes, did you get an answer back from Silversmith or Oasthouse? I go, no, I dropped off paperwork with my phone number and my emails and all that, just in case they wanted to do it that way. I called them and I sent emails. Didn't get a response from from Matt or Kian, so they're not in it. He goes, oh, so they're not included in your 12? I go, no. He goes, what if they want in? I go, too fucking bad. You didn't get back to me. You're not in. I'm not playing these games anymore with these guys. It's just like I have a rule now too. I even put it out in the info sheet. You have a hard cap for your payment. if I do not have your payment within 3 days after that hard cap, your spot is given to somebody else. Because I was chasing breweries all the way up to the day of the festival for the fucking small amount of money that I asked for the registration fee for my festival last year.
No, you got to be hard on them, man. I mean, breweries can't just take it for granted. Oh, Chad's making this really casual, laid-back festival that we can just fuck around and tiddly fuck until the very last day and decide whether we want to show up or like, no, fuck. You know, Chad's got shit riding on this.
One of the breweries didn't even give me my fucking money. They showed up. They were supposed to bring the check with them too to the festival. And they showed up and they're like, "Oh, we forgot the check." Okay, so I'm taking the $100 off of your payout, and I'm taking a $50 late fee off your payout too. What? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. If you want to pour, that's what I'm doing, or you can drive back to Bracebridge.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, breweries need to conduct themselves as a fucking business. I mean, the festival's supposed to be fun, it's for a good cause and all that stuff, and it's supposed to be positive and stuff, but you can't take advantage of it and just act like a bunch of fucking stoners just out of fucking second year college.
That's the thing too, right? Is I make it as laid back and as open as I can for everybody, but at the same time, it's still a fucking festival. You're not going to wait months for my payout to you, so why should I have to fight you for my payout?
Fucking right.
I think what Matt is doing is he's having a lot of fun trying to convince all of his customers that they make a Three Feathers Pale Ale that has 8 IBUs in it.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's fucking retarded. Come on, man.
Yeah, well, when Chad and I went there, we got the Three Feathers, and it said 8 IBUs on the fucking board, and we're like, that has 8 IBUs. He's trying, it's not bitter, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't care how bitter it is, whatever. It's a fucking pale ale.
We were fighting with Cody, and then we were fighting with Matt about the 8 IBUs, because Coors Light has 7 IBUs. I don't care in what way you used your fucking hops. There's no way you're making me make this face. And it has 8 IBUs. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I really don't care. Like, I don't care about IBUs. I think they're kind of irrelevant at this point.
Yeah,
you can have,
it doesn't matter. But
no,
don't sit there and say it's 8 IBUs.
Yeah,
it's obviously like 30.
Yeah, at the very least, that beer was probably in the 50 range, probably based on the bitterness. But it was like he said 8. He's like, oh yeah, because it's not super bitter. But I'm like, listen. It doesn't matter. Like, the science would indicate that this is way more than 8 IBUs, unless you're using like a hop pellet. Like maybe 1, like maybe 3, like Miller Lite. Like you're fucked in the head.
But yeah, now DJ Crazy Chris says we're having a great show, which means I don't think he's actually watching.
He's probably drunk.
Well, no, I think
get yourself a webcam. Join us one night.
Yeah, I think
or use your phone.
I think when he saw you say we're out of topics, he thought the show was over and posted.
It should be.
Anyway,
to be clear, it should be.
I gotta go take a urination break. I'll be right back.
Okay, well, I'm going to read a comment from one of yours favorite commenters. Raining on Your Parade says he just picked up the new Guinness Nitro IPA and it is awesome. I thought they might be going after the American IPA fans, but it's not. It's an English style, lots of caramel. When they first released Guinness American Lager, it was awesome, clean and a great sweet malt. It was beautiful. Now it is undrinkable. Put out a great first batch, then dumb it down because they know everyone is retarded and will buy it anyways. I still think Guinness will one day own American lagers. Pick up the Guinness Nitro IPA soon. Soon they might dumb it down, but it is all good. I see Guinness's master plan. They're going to be the new Budweiser. Cheers.
God damn it, Mike.
No words. You're just taking this down a whole notch. Talking about Guinness. Get the f out of here. It's like our own American lagers. Get out.
You know, we gotta have him on the show sometime, just so you two can have a sit down and hash out your problems, because it's just getting ridiculous. This feud is just childish at this point.
Raining Eye Parade wants to send me some Epiphany from Foundation. To be clear, not Epiphany #1, which is not a 10 out of 10 beer for anyone who thinks it's a 10 out of 10 beer, aka Greg and Chad. It's more like an 8.5 out of 10 at best.
Epiphany #1 is fucking amazing. Fuck you.
No, Lee would agree with me. I'm pretty sure you
would agree with you. Yes, it's not a 10.
That's perfectly fine. Just because you two agree doesn't mean anything.
No, I'm sorry about the subjectivity bullshit.
Sorry,
we're right,
Greg,
you're wrong. That's how this works.
Matt, I tried to send you an actual full-on invite, but Massive Beer Reviews doesn't show up on my feed anymore. Which is weird, because I see all your posts, but I couldn't find you in the...
He's rebranding! No.
No, I have no idea.
I even tried to use your actual name, and it didn't show up either. And
really?
Same thing with Ethan. I can't find Ethan as Mustache Rider Ethan as Ethan's Beer Reviews.
That's not really much of a problem, though, is it? Really?
I never said that. I'm just saying it's weird to me that 2 of the people that were able to be invited every week are just for the last 2 weeks have disappeared.
I would say Ethan did it to himself. That's the way I would look at it.
Yeah, he's just constantly isolating himself and distancing himself from the rest of the community. I mean, that's just the way Ethan is. He's a hateful person.
Hey, you guys hear Fritz Maytag got into the craft beer scene? No, never heard that one.
Jesus Christ.
Were you even born yet, Ethan? No? Okay. That makes sense.
Did you hear Prohibition just got struck down in the courts?
What are you drinking, Matt?
I am drinking Against the Grain Brown Note.
The brown note.
I
Ooh.
just saw a article about Against the Grain, about one of their barrel-aged beers. How are those?
It's not bad. It's a small brown ale. It's nice. It's all right. We'll dig it. I haven't had anything from Against Grain that's blown me away, but my exposure is very limited. You know, so we don't really get a ton of their stuff up here.
Their price point is fucking stupid.
Actually, you know what? I had their Sit Your Ass Down, which is a great name.
Yeah.
And that was actually quite nice.
I don't know if it's East Coast only because they're out of the Midwest.
Kentucky, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
But like that Sit Your Ass Down, a bomber of it. It's just a double IPA in New York is $16.99.
Yeah.
That.
Like
Yeah.
I mean, and that brown note. I mean that's a pounder can. But
And
like a 4-pack.
$16.99 means it's like $22 Canadian.
Yeah, which,
it was a little. It was $14 for a 4-pack of Pounders, which isn't too bad, but it's still only 5%.
yeah, and it's a brown ale. It's not like
Yeah.
they put any kind of crazy like expensive hops or like adjuncts or anything. It's just a fucking brown ale. And the thing is around here, their stuff actually sits on the shelf because people see like a double IPA for $17, and they're like, what? What? Like no, like it's not happening. So I mean, the thing is that I hear they make pretty solid beer, but it's like this. Not here. They can't too much.
Would be calling that beer brown noise? Would that have like pushed things a little too far? No. Would someone in like the decency board for labels or whatever have caught that?
I don't know. The guy.
It's Kentucky. You could fuck your sister and nothing happens. So I'm sure labels aren't a big deal.
It's fucking shit stains on a fucking can. Like I don't. Like it's. I can't imagine how many people haven't bought it because of that though. Offended by it. While other people
I
did
have a question for you, Joe, because of the comment I heard just as I was leaving. Has the Nitro IPA shown up in New York yet?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. I only asked because I do have a few people that work across the border all the time, and they said they'd look for it, and I just didn't know if it had hit there yet or not.
Yeah, I saw it at premiere last week, and then I looked at it. And I said, "That's hilarious," and then I moved on. I think that's what happened. Something similar to that, but I saw it, and I was just like,
I heard somebody who was talking about it. Some dude on a podcast. It was somebody from All About Beer magazine on a podcast. He was talking about it that they're having oxidation issues with the. You're talking about the Guinness ones, right?
Yeah, the Guinness Nitro Stout. Nitro IPA.
IPA.
Yeah, I guess there was oxidation issues with it. So it's a very hit or miss.
Because Raining on Your Parade saying that ever since the first batch, it hasn't tasted as good as it did.
Batch variation.
Guess what, Raining on Parade probably never tasted all that good to begin with. Boom!
Well,
Or was he
really weird? It is canned, so unless they left too much headroom,
Which is the problem, because that's the widget in there. You got to leave extra space and shit like that for it to work or something.
So maybe they
whatever.
miscalculated how much space they were supposed to leave.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's probably because it's their first time using widgets. But
they should be able to do this perfectly, since they do the Murphy's Irish Stout. They do their stout. They do so many widgeted beers already. Kilkenny, Tetley Smooth Flow. They do all these, so they should know how to do it on an IPA as well. The math should be set in stone.
you got to put it in the magical fridge. Otherwise, that's how you avoid.
Yes, you need to send it to Greg, and Greg needs to age it for 2 weeks in his fridge.
That's how you avoid batch variation issues.
Last beer for me for the night is Brimstone's Heaven Vice, and I don't remember. Do you remember? It says it's a Bavarian wheat, but do you remember if it was a crystal wheat? Because this is so see-through that I don't remember it being that see-through when we tried it.
I remember it being unfiltered to a certain extent, so no, I don't remember it being a
Yeah,
crystallizing.
this is I think they might have put the wrong label on this. And I think it's going to blow up because I knocked this beer over when me and Nick were talking earlier, so I'm going to open that up.
I just remember it was huge bubblegum notes. Like, it was bubblegum and banana, but, like, the bubblegum was, like, almost overwhelming to a certain extent. I enjoyed it, but...
I think that was one of the last brews he did on the pilot system, which could have been part of the problem. I remember walking in one time, and he gave me a beer, and this was Rod. And he handed me a beer, and he goes, taste this. What's it taste like to you? And I tasted it, and I'm like, it tastes kind of like vulcanized rubber. He goes, yeah, that's what I feared. I go, what's wrong? And he goes, well, my system doesn't, because this was back on the pilot system, on the half-barrel system. He's like, my system doesn't get up to the right temperature, so we have these immersion heaters that we put in. And he goes, and the immersion heater right around the wire has vulcanized rubber, and I think some of it boiled off into the beer. And I'm like, yeah, thanks for giving me that. Thank you for letting me ingest vulcanized rubber. Asshole.
Oh, yeah, so just to be clear, I'm looking at the review that we shot at the fest, and I just looked at the appearance, and you said, yeah, it looks like a Weiss beer, super unfiltered, and it definitely is quite unfiltered.
Okay, so once I poured it, it is a little more unfiltered than
Yeah.
the bottle showed, but not by much.
Yeah, it looked a lot more at the fest, so I don't know.
It didn't look like there was, like, I would roll it around, because I rolled it around a few times before I opened it, and yeah, it had no sediment moving, so I thought it was just crystallizing, basically. But you're right, just like you said, lots of bubblegum notes.
Yeah.
Lots of bubblegum notes. Like, that's Bazooka Joe right there.
Yeah.
So Matt, is your dog finally cone-free?
Yeah, his nose is still a little fucked up, but it's healing. So
That video where he's fucking going nuts, Jesus.
yeah, he's a maniac, man. He runs over our little dog like it's nothing.
Shredded the shit out of him. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, he plays like if I take him to a dog park, it doesn't matter if the dog's like 250 pounds or 2 pounds. He plays exactly the same way with all the dogs. There's only one speed, and it's 11.
You're another dog. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what, Matt? It's funny you say that because you have met my dogs. Well, I have a Scottish Terrier, as you know. My Scottish Terrier is like that too. She plays with one speed, no matter what size the dog it is, and it usually has to be a big dog. Like I've watched her beat the crap out of my buddy's 2 Saint Bernards.
Yeah.
So when an old lady brings her little poodle into a fucking dog park, it's hysterical. Especially when she starts like kicking at my dog, and I'm like, lady, if you kick my dog, I'm kicking you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing.
It's not malicious. I'm lucky that in my area a lot of the dog parks we do have are weight separated. Like it's like
our
30
dog
minus or 40 plus.
A large dog and a small
Yeah.
dog section. But we usually when we would take the Scottish Terrier, who is the smaller dog, into the large dog park, and we would keep our mutt in the small dog park because he plays more like a small dog. Right? Like he chases, and that's about it. He likes being chased, especially, and he's pretty fast. But Stella's like Black Lightning, and she's mean. But she's a Scottish Terrier. That's what she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
She does exactly what she's supposed to be. And you can tell, like, if you are a dog owner that actually is a dog owner, you can tell by body language whether or not they're having fun or they're being malicious.
Yeah.
And she's not trying to hurt the other dog. She thinks she's having fun, and it's just their little coddled fucking poodles and Shih Tzus that, like, 80-year-old women brought into the dog park, right? The dog eats off my plate, you know, that type of dog.
Crazy Chris says he's still here. Raining on Your Parade says, and the new Guinness IPA comes in a nitro 12-ounce can for $8.99 a 6-pack. Are there any other 12-ounce nitro cans out there?
12-ounce nitro.
No one cares. No one wants to talk about this. Go away.
Well, 12 ounces is 355s. 360.
That'd be
I don't think there's any.
That'd be 355, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 355.
I don't think there is any other 355 nitro cans. I mean, there's a lot of 473s and 500s, but I don't think there's any other 355s.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird size, really.
And there's 355 bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it-
left-hand milk stout is 355 nitro bottle. Yeah.
So what should I get Chris to do next? He doesn't want anything super special. I have like some barrel-aged quads and stuff in the fridge that I think I should give him.
I'd start them off small. If you just transition from pumpkin beers, don't be throwing that shit at them.
well, no, hold on. But
Sours.
Belgians are a great intro. I mean, yeah, quads maybe a bit much, but like a nice double would be good, or triple.
Yeah.
I've actually started using, the way I've done it now is the drinking beer is in the real fridge, and until I get another keg, all the review beer is in the kegerator, and the kegerator is like overstocked. I have like 2 layers of beer in it because I do my reviews on my own, right? So I might be able to get 5 reviews done a week right now, and if that, and so with him we did 5 in a day, 2.5 beers each, which was great. And we got 5 of them out, but the fridge is still packed. And I know I have a box coming from BC right now. I have a box coming from Manitoba, so I'm going to have more and more beer coming. I don't know what's in them until they get here, but it's going to be an interesting thing, and I'm glad I have somebody to share it with. I'm trying to get a few other people from work to come out, and we'll see what happens. I mean, Lachlan still comes out once a year. The Cantankerous Cook comes out whenever he can. The problem right now with the punter is the puntette won't drive him because the puntette's pregnant and she can't drink, so she doesn't want to bring him.
Wait. So he has to suffer?
Yeah, he has
Bullshit.
to suffer.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole point. Do you have a designated driver
have
for
an
at least the
AD,
next 9
exactly.
months? Yeah.
Exactly. And the other husband, I haven't seen him in a while because his days off used to be the same as mine, and his wife had one of the same days off as me, so he would get her to drive him all the time. But lately he's been off weekends, so he hasn't been able to be here.
To answer the question on the Guinness can, it's 11.2 fluid ounces, which is what, 330, 331, something like that.
11.2. Okay, so like a European bottle.
Yeah, 330.
So
Well,
what? So let me get straight.
it's 11.2 ounces of beer in a 12-ounce can is what it is.
That is,
Yeah.
So this guy asked a question that he could just easily look up on Google. Fucking guy.
You guys have a nice little beef going on. I like it.
Let me Google that for you. It's like, come on, dude.
No, TNG, I have not ever had Black Bull malt liquor. I don't even know what Black Bull malt liquor is or where it
Do
is
you
from.
want Black Bull malt liquor? Are you looking
It's at
forward?
10% ABV. Of course he wants it.
It's on your bucket list?
It's not on my bucket list. Well, I guess it is because I want to try everything.
That's
So
a
do I
different
want
bucket
it?
list. That's the
Yes,
bucket you
but
fucking
do I
puke into
actually
afterwards.
want it? Probably not.
This is on the Century Puke bucket list. That's what.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
that was actually, and the worst part about that was it was good beer. It was like Headstock. It was an Imperial IPA and an Imperial Stout night, and then PBR. The PBR is what put me over the edge. I wouldn't have puked if it wasn't PBR.
Let's face it. That was the dumbest Century Club challenge ever.
It was because I did the first Century Club perfect, and I even drank after it, and I chugged a beer after it, and I wasn't even hungover. But then we did the Imperial Century Club, and that was the dumbest thing I've ever done.
I mean, if you're gonna do a Century Club with fucking Imperial stuff, and you're trying to pace yourself to some fucking degree, yeah, no, not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. There's no such thing. You're just dumb.
Yeah, no, it was stupid, and there's a lot of stupid things I've done in my life, and that is one of them.
And we had to watch watch those two fucking flirt awkwardly.
We didn't have to watch. We didn't have to watch.
While her
but we did.
boyfriend was behind the camera.
Yeah. That was just remote.
You know what? And her boyfriend's actually a really cool guy. I kind of miss her coming over just for Brandon. Brandon was a cool guy.
The one time he was there, I didn't really interact with him, so I'll take your word for it.
Was he here with you one time?
Mm-hmm, yeah. I was there once with the Ginger Snatch, and he sat on the couch, and that's what he did. He sat on the couch.
Well, he is fully against, and I am too, to an extent. He's fully against drinking and driving. I'm against drinking and driving as well, but if somebody has one beer or 1.5 beers in a 4-hour span here, I don't say anything. It's 1.5 beers, whatever. But he is, if any alcohol touches your lips, you shouldn't be driving. So that's probably why he just sat on the couch and said nothing.
I thought you said he wasn't a big fan of anything from the 1970s and upwards, but totally
Well,
understand.
he's not a big fan of anything from the 1970s and upwards either. But
Oh, okay. That was just an observation.
Tornation Gaming says, okay, he'll send you some.
where is it even from, Tornation? I've never even heard of Black
Does it
Bull.
matter? Does it really matter?
I've had Blue Bull and Red Bull, but I've never heard of Black Bull.
Oh, you're in for a surprise.
And here's probably the best comment of the night. Riding on your parade, standing up for himself. He says, "Tell that bitch Ewert to shut up. I only brought his name up twice, a long time ago."
Yeah, I don't forget. I'm a bitter bitch.
He is Old Man Murray. To be clear, he is Old Man Murray.
Yeah. Raining on your parade, we do call
Get
him
off
Old
his
Man
fucking
Murray
lawn!
because he is basically like an 80-year-old man, and you've stood on his lawn. He's on his porch with a shotgun right now, yelling, "Get off my lawn, Sonny!"
You're like that little 10-year-old snot kid that tramples on my daisies out front. I don't care if you're 28 years old now. I'll remember, and I'm gonna beat your ass.
You're a cool guy to meet in person when he gets on BDU. This is what you get right here. Whatever this is what you get. A bitter old man that remembers everything, even though he can't remember his fucking last name. That's what you get. This guy.
I remember those things, but I don't remember the stuff that's really important.
That's pretty true.
It's true.
This is just the most confusing feud to me I've ever seen.
I don't even know if it's a feud or if it's just two old guys yelling at one
I don't know if
another.
they're. I don't know.
They
If
don't
they're
even
just,
know what they're yelling about.
I don't know if they're just trolling us subtly, like they've been doing it for like a couple years now.
I don't know. I honestly, I
troll
don't remember. I don't remember what he said, but he called me out for something a long time ago. And I said, "What? Where did this come from?"
No,
I didn't know where it came from. I still don't know where it came from, so I'm just going after him. When I hear his name, I'm going to go after him. Is that
He
it?
said
I
the
don't
same
remember-
thing.
You don't even remember what it was, and you're being a bitch.
Well, I don't
funny-
remember what it was. It didn't make sense to me at the time either. So it's not. I couldn't even remember what it was because it didn't.
I slightly remember what happened, and this is what happened. It was a BDU, and Raining on Your Parade said almost something identical to what he just said. He's like, tell that bitch Ewert to shut his face, or something like that. Just randomly out of nowhere. Like, there was nothing, just out of nowhere he said that. And you was like, what did I ever do to him? Like, what is this? And then from that point forward, he just was upset. I think he was just trolling Ewert, which it clearly worked, because now that was like a year ago, and you were still pissed off.
No, I'm not pissed off. No, it's not.
So
It's not
old, he
pissed
doesn't understand the internet. Come on now.
Hey, have you ever thought about this? Like, because it was so stupid, and I'm just going to go on and just be on him relentlessly about the dumbest things. Is not the trolling reversed?
It is. It's a big troll feud, and here's the thing: nobody cares. That's the best part about it. We just don't care.
Well, and hence the trolling. You know, so I'm going to try to elicit a reaction, and the fact you guys are even talking about this means I win.
And you know me, I'm all about
Nobody
harmony
wins.
and good feelings and unity in the beer community. I never go after anybody. I always want everyone to fucking sit in a prayer circle and sing Kumbaya all fucking day.
Boy, that's
True words never spoken by me.
So this just really distresses me so much that these two are fighting.
Just as an FYI, I just got an email from Erica, and she may be the one coming to talk to us about Black Oak because she wants to talk about the
Boom! You're welcome.
Society
You're welcome, BDU
for
viewers.
beer drinking, Society of Beer Drinking Ladies at the same time.
Well, hopefully she doesn't watch the first half hour of this fucking episode then.
Okay, well, the first thing that I would highly recommend is to ban Greg Bylog from any BU in which he is a part of.
That would be
That's
a
the
good
first
idea right there. Yeah.
And
No.
Paul.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I won't say that. But yeah, okay, maybe Paul, but definitely Greg. Like 100% Greg is not allowed to be involved. You should probably just ban him from your entire channel for that specific night and then unban him the next day.
No comments, no nothing. Greg can say nothing.
No, Greg, you can try to relay your comments via Facebook, and we just won't read them. Sorry, you're just cut off.
Oh, you can have me, and we'll just mute him every second.
Greg, what do you think, Mute?
Ding, ding, ding.
That'd be fun. That'd be a good time.
Yeah, so she is interested in doing it, so we will go from there. And I actually, this one is for Lee. Wheels also wants to talk.
Oh, well, that's just special.
God. Can we just put Lee and Wheels on, and that's it? Everyone else just not be here?
Yeah, I want it to be like one of those like one-on-one interviews, like on like 60 Minutes, where it's just like those two, and that's it.
where Lee just constantly references him as Wheels, and he just doesn't understand what's happening. That's what I want.
I won't.
The problem is he's a lawyer. He'll probably sue him for fucking slander or something.
It's great.
He's welcome. He's welcome to try that, but I'm just telling you right now, I won't be on my best behavior if he shows up on this fucking show.
I love it because Lee's already got the background. It's all black and Lee's face illuminated. I want the other guy to do the same thing, like two faces, two heads, just in darkness.
Floating. Yeah, just floating heads, almost like someone fucking just photoshopped their head into like a black background.
Get Lee to get his brother's computer set up right beside him so they both can go and he can have like an angel head on one of them and devil ears on the other and just jump between the two of them. Hi, guy. How are you? Fuck you, Wheels. What do you think of it? I don't fucking care, Wheels.
Here's the thing. If Erica comes on, is there any way to get Tasting Niche on the same exact beat as you? Is that a possibility?
Why are you planning on having them try to get them make out or something online? Or?
I never said that. Now, if that was to happen, I'm not sure it'd be a bad thing. No, I just try to get all the beer the women beer tubers.
I can send Tasting Niche a message tomorrow. She actually is on fairly good terms with me for some reason, and I can ask her if she wants to do one.
She hasn't discovered you're a misogynist yet.
Yeah.
Craft brew chick you could get on. You could also get 73 minutes with Finney or whatever that is.
It's cool to prove that there are female beer tubers out there, or female women in brewing.
But Jen Suzanne, 5 minutes of Finney.
Yeah. Just do what Jim Sear did and have like the women take over BDU one night where you just let them talk and you mute yourself and they have like their own little women BDU.
That would be probably a lot better than the shit we do.
Oh, it'd be 100 times better. And better to look at, I'd imagine, as well. So it'd be a great time.
Would it be cool if it was just like a whole panel of female beer tubers talking?
Along with Greg.
Has that ever actually happened on YouTube that anyone can recall? That there's just been an all-female...
All I know is that all my ideas for segments have been stolen. The Draft magazine just did recently pairing beer with fast food. Pissed me off. I've seen a couple brewers read mean tweets, which pissed me off.
Yeah, but that's stolen from talk shows.
Yeah,
but that's stolen from Lee at BeerTube. Lee reading troll comments.
So what you're saying is I should be suing Jimmy Fallon or whoever the fuck does that shit?
If you want to try, I'm behind you. You're not gonna win, but you were the first BeerTuber that I recall to read fucking troll comments and do a whole commentary.
That's so great in court. Yeah, I'm suing Jimmy Fallon. I'm a BeerTuber. They'd be like, what the fuck?
Like, you are a fucking nerd, sir.
You're an asshole from Nova Scotia. You're a nobody. What are you doing? You have no millions of dollars.
So, just as a reminder for anybody that watches to this point, anybody that has a webcam is welcome to join the panel.
Within reason.
Yeah, you may not be invited back, but you're invited to join the panel.
No, listen, you're shaking your head, but Raining on Your Parade just said, "Tell Yurt I love him." At the end of the day, all beer tubers are created equal.
That's a fucking lie, number one.
He never wrote that. Where's the comments? Where's my YouTube?
It's in the comment section. Now, come on.
Where are the comments? I can't see them.
Nation says, by the way, that malt liquor is from it's Montreal brewed in Laval.
Montreal in Laval, eh? Oh, yeah. There's so much good stuff in Quebec so much good stuff in Quebec, and you're talking to me about Black Bull. I was hoping you were going to say something like Saskatchewan or Manitoba, and I could understand it. But Quebec?
Don't knock it till you try.
That's what they say.
It's true. I'm not going to knock it until I try it. But at the same time, I'm just going to say you know what? Actually, Quebec is known kind of for its malt liquors. I mean, you figure they have like Molson Dry, the like 10.1% dry, the 7.1% dry, the 7.7% dry, like all of that.
Yeah, I know Quebec's got a lot of good stuff, and I go there often. But I honestly, since I can't read half of the labels because they're all in French, I can only understand like bits of it. I don't know what's good or what I'm even drinking, so it becomes difficult.
That's not localized to Quebec or Montreal.
You can't read and understand anything that you have in front of you. So
apparently not, because apparently he's never had a beer from Europe that has French on the fucking label, as long as if every other fucking language.
Listen.
What is malt in French? What is fucking hops in French? Oh, gee, big mystery.
Are we done here?
Not yet, dude.
So anyway, guys,
Oh,
Our show for this week is
Whoa.
basically over. Hopefully next week we can have Erica or Tasting Mitch or both on the
Wait,
panel.
wait. I will say we should probably refer to an expert when bringing someone of the opposite gender in. I think we should call in Chad's for some advice on how to.
How many Z's? How many Z's?
First
How many
off,
Z's?
I'm pretty sure everybody in this panel, even myself, who is a proclaimed, according to Facebook, misogynist, because of a comment I made between two of my friends, one of them being a male and one of them being a female. They both got a job at the same company, and the female one is still there, and the male one isn't. Anyway, yeah, who even cares? It was a joke between friends, and I had a whole bunch of white justice knights coming out. You know, oh my God, social justice. Anyway, I'm pretty sure every single person, including misogynistic Albino himself, can behave better than he can in 10 seconds with a female on his cast.
That's right.
Oh, okay. I thought we needed some tips we could ask him.
Like I said, just keep Greg away. Keep Greg away. I think this is smooth sailing.
I hope you honestly do put the feelers out, and I'm not saying that in
Oh,
a sexual
come on,
way.
Wade.
Come on now, guys.
Come on.
Stop right now. Stop right
Come
now.
on.
It's just what the first thing came to my head, and it wasn't because of that. But put the feelers out, see if they're interested. Get some female beer tubers into the actual mix, and you had something to say, I think.
Well, he's not gonna say it. To answer your early question,
but
no, he doesn't. It doesn't matter anyway. Whatever he says.
Okay,
To
well,
answer your
fuck
earlier
you.
question, he about female beer tubers, and you said did they ever do like a hangout or any kind of show or anything? At any single given time, I don't know if there's more than like 4 or 5 beer tubers actively, or women beer tubers actively on YouTube. Like it seems to be hit and miss because of people like Chad.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen anything from the Tasting Niche in a while, in all honesty. But I have
refer to
seen
her as the
subscriptions
tasting
now.
niche. Why do you refer to her as the tasting niche?
Because
The one and only?
yeah, she is the Tasting Niche.
That's right.
But yeah, like who was that girl from California that started doing them that was really good, but she put way too much effort into her videos?
Isn't that the best?
What do you mean effort? Mean jump cuts?
No, not jump cuts. Like she did a lot of post production. She had like pictures of the brewery floating over her head and stuff. Like she put a lot of work into her videos. She had one video where she walked out of the fridge, like by video editing.
Yeah. I know
What's
you're
in
talking
the fridge
about.
today?
The only female beer tuber that I can think of out of California is the one that joins Jay's panels that likes the BJCP.
Oh,
A little bit too much.
Kenya Muskoka, or whatever the fuck her name is.
You say so. That's the one that I remember.
Anyway, to YouTube, we're going offline next week. Be ready with some questions or fuck yourselves. Love yous. Bye.
Yeah.